So why did I see value in going vegan? Now, my initial intentions were not to go vegan at all. My initial intentions were to just be a much healthier person than I was. And needless to say, at the time, anything could have been more healthier than I was. I was on the standard American diet for like 5 to 6 years. I really neglected my health. I used to be an advocate of, bodybuilding and health and everything. I got slightly injured and life kind of took its course, and then I just completely neglected my health and, fell into this, red meat like every other day almost, and then tons of processed food because, I didn't want to cook and I didn't want to do any of this other stuff, and life just took its course, right? And so over a year and a half ago, I found out I had high blood pressure. I found out that I had high cholesterol, and the doctor was ordering EKGs in my heart. And, my family has had a history of bad hearts. So it was a scare, to say the least. But it didn't scare me enough. I had so much else going on in my life, and I'll get more into that other stuff later. But the thing is that at that point, I couldn't make the change that needed to be done. I think I had a salad right after that doctor's appointment, and that's about as far as it had gone. Now, with everything being said, my wife and I had split, and at that point, I realized I could actually do something for my health and to correct it. And in previous years, I used to bodybuild, but I was eating, the standard bodybuilding diet, which is typically like chicken and broccoli. And even then, my doctor told me I had high cholesterol, and I didn't want to believe him. He said to cut back on the protein, and I was like, what are you talking about? I have to sustain this amount of protein, this amount of grams, so I can stay the size that I was. And, I got pretty big, but I wasn't like, monster size. But nonetheless, fast forward back to a year ago, I had just split with my wife. I have 2 small kids, and that was really why I had to make the change. I want to be there for my kids when they're, old and gray. I don't want to have my kids grow up without a father. And so I want to prolong my life as long as possible. So I started researching about what was the healthiest diet available, because that was my initial search. I didn't care about building muscle, I just wanted to be healthy. And so I kept finding stuff on veganism and plant-based diets, and I was like, it's not really something I can do. How can I build muscle? I'm not going to be able to build muscle on a vegan diet. And I continued to research more into, can I start building muscle on a plant-based diet? And I found plenty of people on YouTube that were actually building muscle, and they weren't small people. They were good size athletes that had actual muscle, and they weren't scrawny. And I was like, that's what I want. I want to be as healthy as possible and be able to put on size. And so I started researching more about it, and then after about a month of research, I was like, is this something I'm really going to do? I mean, what people are going to think about me going vegan? You get so much backlash about people doing things, right? And so, especially going something like vegan, people think going vegan is so extreme, but when it's not really. So it took me a while to actually commit, but then I was like, you know what, this is something I have to do. I can't wait. If I wait any longer, I'll be on medication. And that's the last thing I want to do, because if you know me, I don't like going on medication. I just hate it, okay? And so what I ended up doing is actually, the nice thing is nowadays they have a lot of meatless products and dairy-free cheeses and milks and everything like that actually helped me transition. And so I started, the meat was easy to cut out. I didn't have to worry about meat at all. The meat I cut easy off the top. The dairy stuff was much harder because you don't actually realize how much milk is in all these products. And so that was, I think, the hardest to try to figure out what I could eat and what I couldn't eat. But that took about a month and a half to fully transition. And then The hardest thing was the first couple of days. It takes your body a while to adjust because it's not used to having all these fruits and vegetables and legumes, and so once I decided and made that choice, I started on the diet. I was using these meatless products to help me transition. The more I started reading, the more I started leaning more towards going to a plant-based diet. Now, not just strictly a plant-based, because plant-based diet does allow you to have some meat, but a very, very small amount, not like the ginormous portions that we have nowadays. And so I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any dairy or eggs. I'm as close to nature as possible, right? So I try to stay away from all processed junk. And I was learning more of this stuff as I went along, right? So it wasn't just I wake up in the morning and now I'm vegan, and it takes a while to learn what you can eat and what you can't put in your body. But I can tell you, like, right off the bat, I realized my energy level was great. Like, it picked up, and I wasn't I was working out and everything else, but like I'd work out and I'd have like so much energy. Like, I didn't need to take like any supplements or anything, like, because I had the energy to do it and I had the strength to do it. Like, I didn't lose any strength. I didn't lose. It was fantastic. Not only that, but like my mental clarity was great. Like, before I used to always feel clouded. Like I was walking through a fog, and that all changed, and like I just felt better than I had felt in years, to be honest, and probably even a decade since I felt that good. And so, needless to say, I started on this journey to being vegan, plant-based diet, and I've been on it for about a year now, and I feel fantastic, and it's one of the best investments I have ever made. And I want a lot of people to know out there that don't be afraid of what other people think. You have to go out there. If this is something you want to do, your health is number one priority, because without your health, none of the other stuff will happen for you. There is no career, there is no family, there is nothing else, right? So what you have to do is get your health in check. And I would recommend a vegan diet, vegan plant-based diet, because you can, vegans come in every different size as well. I mean, you can eat Oreos and drink Mountain Dew and be considered a vegan. So I am like a plant-based vegan, and I stay as close to nature as possible. And I know some of you may think that it can be expensive and whatnot, but to be honest, it actually is not. There are plenty of videos out there and everything else that can help you transition. There are plenty of alternatives to help you transition. So before you put that mental block in there telling yourself that I can't do that, just rethink, do some research, and you will find that it's actually easier than what you think. And this particular diet will save you from having to get on medication that you don't need, and actually probably help a lot of the issues like chronic pain or sleepless nights, all that stuff. It will help you improve all that just through your diet. Your body is a remarkable machine, and if you feed it the right the right ingredients, then it will do wonders for you. So I hope this helps. This is what I discovered, and I know it's like I said, it's done tremendous things for me, and it's changed my life dramatically, and I feel younger. I feel younger than I look. So I hope you all have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one.